Okay, this is another primal video. In this view, we can see the inferior vena cava and then the common iliac vein. See that here, which is going to turn into the external iliac vein. Here is the inguinal ligament on both sides, which makes that the femoral vein. If this is the femoral vein, then that must be the femoral artery. Again, inguinal ligament moving north. That would make this the external iliac artery. This would then make this the internal iliac artery, the common iliac artery, and the aorta. The genitofemoral nerve, it's the genital branch of the genitofemoral nerve, descends anteriorly to the external iliac artery, passes through the deep inguinal ring, and enters the inguinal canal. It gives branches off to the cremasteric muscle and the testicular autonomic plexus. This is the left side of the pelvis. It's an internal view, so we've basically got a sagittal incision. And we'll remove the right side of the body so that we can actually see the inside of the pelvic. Coming back up, this is the internal iliac artery again. Internal iliac artery is then going to split into a bunch of different arteries at this point. This is the posterior trunk. The posterior trunk of the internal iliac artery passes backwards or posteriorly towards the greater sciatic foramen. It represents the common origin of iliolumbar, lateral sacral, and superior gluteal arteries. This is the inferior gluteal artery as it continues. It's a branch of the anterior trunk of the internal iliac artery. It supplies the buttock and back of the thigh. Artery runs backwards and laterally, or posteriorly and laterally, between the first and second, or second and third ventral sacral nerves. It traverses the greater sciatic foramen below the piriformis and enters the gluteal region. The pudendal artery is a branch of the anterior division of the internal iliac artery, and it descends anteriorly into the sacral plexus to the lower part of the greater sciatic foramen, passing between the piriformis and coccygeus muscles. Obturator internus. This is the pudendal coming down across. You can actually see the whole thing. This is the obturator nerve and the obturator artery. This is the ventral rami of the second and third sacral spinal nerves. This is the ventral ramus of the first sacral spinal nerve. It supplies the piriformis and the muscles of the buttock and lower limbs via the sacral plexus. The sacrospinous ligament. So this is actually the sacrospinous ligament. Here is the external iliac artery. The external iliac artery is going to basically come out of the bifurcation of the common iliac artery. Eventually, the external iliac artery is going to become the femoral artery and then exit the pelvis and enter through the femoral triangle that we will get to momentarily. We're now currently looking at the femoral triangle. Again, these are things that I need you to know because they end up showing up on exams. So here's the femoral triangle. It's bordered superiorly by the inguinal ligament. The sartorius muscle is the lateral border, and the medial border is adductor longus. Why is this important? Well, we know that this is a pressure point. We can stop bleeding if we had a major arterial bleed in the leg. Femoral nerve, and the anterior division of it coming down here, and of course that's going to supply what? The anterior thigh and the quadricep muscles. What's also interesting in this view is that we're able to click on this structure, and this is the long saphenous vein, which is synonymous with the greater saphenous vein. Now, what you should know about as a physical therapist is that the greater saphenous vein is the vein that they typically harvest for your femoral bypass grafts in people who have circulatory problems. And they will actually pull this vein out and use it. They can use it for heart surgeries. The structure in green right here is the medial cutaneous nerve of the thigh, supplying the sensation for the medial portion of the thigh.